Hey guys, today we're working on a 2015 F150 Lariat, and this is a beautiful truck. If you guys have been watching this channel, I've also had an F150, did a lot of video on my F150, very similar to this one here. So today we're going to be replacing the front brakes and possibly the back brakes, but these brakes are shot on the inside and the outside looks okay actually. So I want to show you guys how to do this if you have a F150. And it's a pretty simple procedure. If you guys been watching my channel, I've been saying that if you guys do brakes on an F150 or on a Honda Civic or Audi, they're all the same. The only difference is the bolt size, the torque spec, and the size of the brakes itself and the size of the tire. But actual procedure in itself is pretty much the same. So you might be wondering, well, where's my safety jack? Hey, no worries. This is a hydraulic jack. And a safety jack, it's a 2-in-1. Let me show you guys. You see this little bar right here? That's my safety bar. That's my life insurance. So if you guys want to know more about this jack, well, I'll leave a link in the description down below where you can buy this on Amazon. The first thing you're going to need is going to be a 13mm socket to take off the calipers. And then in the video, I'm going to show you guys all the torque specs to put it all back together. So no worries. Okay, so you got one up here at the top and one on the bottom. Because we live here in Northern California, we don't have to worry about rust. So this thing should come off really easy. If you guys live in the Rust Belt, you may need to get a flat screwdriver to pry this thing off. This is interesting. I see some grinding right here. I wonder why that is. Anyways, these little bolts should come right off. Okay, I got a metal hook right here, and that's attached to the caliper. I'm just going to hang it right here on the upper control arm. If you got a bungee cord, that's fine. The most important thing is you want to make sure that this brake line is not hanging. You could damage the brake line and you're gonna have more problems on your hand. So there is something unique about this F150. There is an inner pad and an outer pad. Now most brake pads are the same inside and out, but this particular guy, I don't know why they did this. There's an inner and an outer, and look at this. This is like metal. Look at that metal grinding right there. So that's what my friend is hearing, is that metal. And this side looks, you know, not too bad. It probably has another 5,000 to 10,000 miles on it. You can see it's kind of cracking right here, so it's a good thing we're replacing it. Alright, so one of the most important tools you'll need for this job is a wire wheel. Yep, a wire wheel. I'm going to take these old clips off, and you always want to replace these clips here because you want these brake pads to slide in and out of these stainless steel shims smoothly. And if your pad does not come with these shims, you take those pads back and upgrade to make sure you guys get some new shims on here. Okay, so you got one on top, one on the bottom for each side. Okay, once you take the shim off, you want to take your wire wheel and grind down. Is that where these shims were? Okay, and then do your best not to breathe this stuff because this is all brake dust, asbestos. I'm sure to give you cancer if I don't have one already. Alright guys, so today we're going to be using Duralast Gold ceramic brake pads. These are direct OE replacement. It's written right on here, the inner and the outer. So when you guys take the brake pads off, let me show you here. Make a note here. See how this inner one has this round part right here, and the outer one does not. So do not put this on backwards, and I think that's why they put the writing right here, inner left hand and then inner right hand. Okay, so these shims go on pretty much one way. You can see one side has a little lip right here, the other one has this round part. So what you want to do is place this sharp little notch against the rotor side of the caliper, and then push down, and you hear a little click just like that. So you can put on just a slight angle. Okay, and we get on the back side. Okay, another good thing to have on hand is brake parts cleaner. As I was messing around with this, you'll get some fingerprints on here maybe, or extra brake dust. So little spray, clean it off. The next thing you want to do is you want to work on servicing the slider pins. You got one on the top, one on the bottom. If you recalled earlier, we pulled these 13 millimeter bolts out. That's the slider pin right here, and this thing needs to slide in and out freely as the brake pad wears. So it's really critical that you guys service these slider pins. So there's a little rubber bushing right here. Just hold the rubber bushing so it doesn't come out. Okay, and then just pull the pin right out. And this one looks actually pretty good. Pretty good meaning that the lubrication here, the grease, the silicone grease, is still shiny and it's liquidy, if you will. What I worry about are those slider pins that when you pull these things out, they oftentimes are crusty, caked on here. It's hard to get off. So this is going to be really easy to service. What I like to do is, if you can take like a pipe cleaner and stick it in here, and get the rest out if you want to. But if you just take a rag and just slide this in there, in and out kind of thing, you'll get most of the gunk out of here. Okay, and just like that. And when you service this, you want to use a silicone paste made for automotive. These are high temperature silicone paste. And the most important thing about putting silicone on here is you don't need a whole lot. But the most important thing is do not put any silicone at the very tip of the slider pin, because when you push this back into the cylinder, you'll create an air pocket. So you want all the air to escape as you're pushing this pin in. Does that make sense? So we're going to go ahead and slide this in there. Make sure that rubber boot seats on this pin nicely, and just go work it back and forth, and this thing should pop in and out freely, just like that. Okay, and then give it a quick little wipe. Okay, and we're going to do the same thing on the bottom here. Okay, there's the bottom pin. Again, looks pretty good. I mean, it's dirty, right? That's expected. Okay, and it's going to clean that off really good. Now, if your boot happens to come off like mine did, don't worry. These boots goes right in. It snaps right in. This might be a good time to come in here and just clean it up just a little extra. Okay, so once again, you're going to lubricate it with this silicone paste. Slide it in, work it back and forth. So left hand inner. And again, these things only go on one way. And then this is the outer. It doesn't really matter which one you choose. Again, they only go in one way. So the little notch right here, there's a notch right here. They slide right into these new pins, or these shims that you just put in. Now, a lot of people who like to put a little grease on the shims right here, I recommend you don't do that, because it's going to eventually work its way onto the rotor, and it's going to get on the rotor, on your brake pad. So I recommend do not put anything here on the shims. They don't do it in manufacturing, so don't do it here. Let me slide this in right here. Okay, that's all there's to it. Okay, so I have this little special tool. So you slide it in like this. I'm gonna try to do this here. Hope you guys can see this on the camera. And then you want to push down on this lever, and it basically pushes those pins back in. And again, I'll leave this link down in the description of where you guys can buy this little tool, because without it, I mean, you can use a C-clamp, and that's the way I've been doing it for years. But boy, with this tool right here, I am in and out in no time. Okay, that's it. And then to loosen it, you just push it all the way forward. That tool comes out, and now look at this. That piston's pushed all the way in, okay? Give a quick inspection. If you guys see something weird in here, like a bunch of rust, you obviously want to clear that or clean it out, grind it out. If you see a torn boot in here, you want to make sure you replace that torn boot and service this correctly. If you guys are seeing any kind of wetness around this this piston right here, so make sure that piston area is dry. And then this should slide right in. Yep, just like that. Easy peasy. Okay, so if you guys have blue thread locks, that's a good idea. I've been known to use red sometimes. These thread locks are really important, just so that when it dries, it's going to dry into the thread and it's not going to vibrate off. Okay, so when I tighten this thing, hopefully that this slider pin is not going to spin on me, and if it does, it's got this little notch right here. You can put a wrench on there. These slider pin bolts gets tightened down to 27 foot-pounds, and if you guys are doing a brake job, you want to make sure you torque it down to the manufacturer's spec. Okay, now 27 foot-pounds is not very much. A lot of oil drain plugs are 30 foot-pounds, so 27 foot-pounds is good. It's always good to double check. Ta-da! That's it. So basically all you're gonna do is the exact same thing on the other side. So if you guys have any thoughts or questions or comments on how to do this, leave it down below and I'll get back to you guys. Okay, and the torque spec for these lug nuts is 150 foot-pounds.